always know to be more patient with them. And since it's my own business and in my own environment, I get to take those steps to make those animals feel more comfortable instead of just at another person's salon where, you have a time frame. It's like you have to do this, this, and this, and you have to rush. And for me, it's very important that the dog, one, feels comfortable and I feel comfortable doing it. They're babies, people love their animals, and I just want to show their animals some love and patience and, make them feel good.
Welcome back to the Rain Brings Growth podcast. I'm your host, Matt Sidwell. We're here with Faith Martinho today. How's it going, Faith?
Good.
Good?
Good, yeah.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Excited.
We had a good time talking with your mom, and she had a lot of good things to say about you. Sounds like you have a pretty awesome life. So let's start from, the miracle of birth. That's pretty crazy, just what your mom was saying, pretty premature birth, and I'll let you take it away.
Yep. I was born early, tough birth story. My biological mom was on drugs and all of those things. And, it was a miracle for me to come out and be healthy and not be too far behind. I was behind in the growth area because of the drugs and things that she was doing while she was pregnant with me, but I caught up and, just got to where I was supposed to be with growth-wise in my brain and all of that. So, interesting story, but yeah.
How premature were you?
I think I was 28 weeks.
28 weeks?
Yep. I think
Dang.
I was 3 pounds or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a small little thing.
And what were some of the things that you had to overcome?
I had some issues with my lungs not being fully developed. I was in the NICU for, I think, a few, 3 months after being born. So I was on a breathing machine for a while after that because my lungs weren't developed with everything that went into my birth. So that was the main thing for a while. Was, getting me caught back up and getting everything developed the way it should have been. I ended up catching up, but for a while at that beginning, that was the main issue.
Yeah. How long were you in the hospital?
3 months, I'd say. Yeah. 3
Okay.
months.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dang. Yeah, you definitely had a rough start then.
Yeah. I didn't get to be held or touched unless it was, through the little machines that I was on when I was that age. I didn't connect with anyone until after that, and I actually think the first time that I connected with anyone was my mom that I have now. It's hard as a baby. A lot of the time, right when you're born, you connect to your mother, you lay on her chest or whatever, and I didn't have that for those few months that I first came out, and that's gone into my life now of connecting with people, that trust there, and I finally connected with her, my mom, and then after that, it got a little easier connecting to other people, but, not having that connection right away when I was born, obviously can make a difference when I get older.
Yeah, when you were released from the hospital, was everything good to go then? Or were you still having to do pretty common checkups and
Still common checkups, and I had that breathing machine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long were you out on the breathing machine for?
4 months after that. Yeah. So it was NICU, and it was the breathing machine, the test, and I don't think I really caught up until I was maybe a few years old. And I think I was still a little behind size-wise. I've always been quite small, but, it took a little while.
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter was in the hospital in NICU, my first daughter. She was only in for weeks, and I know how scary it was. I can't imagine having her in for 3 months like that.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty crazy for your parents, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, my daughter had the failure to thrive, so she only gained like 7 ounces in her first 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doctor's like, you need to go back. They just started giving her like double bottles pretty much, but luckily she got over that. But she was in the hospital for like a blood sugar thing. Like the first week, she couldn't get her blood sugar where it needed to be. But yeah, it's got to be scary like for the parents though. Like just
No, for
watching your
sure.
kid in a machine for 3 months
For sure.
and being so early and premature.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of your earliest memories that you can remember as a kid?
I don't really have a lot of memories of when I was younger, especially around that time. I remember being with my mom. My mom I have now. I don't really have any memory of the people before that. My biological dad and biological mom. They were only there a little bit when I was younger, and I think I saw my biological dad like once or twice when I was younger, and it was always something simple, and then that's it, you know. As a kid, though, I had 3 of my siblings in the house, and we'd always do fun things, you know, regular kid stuff, go play outside and all of those things. Always with the family, always running wild. We all played sports and those things. I don't know. I just remember little memories like that, you know, jumping on a trampoline with my brothers or Nerf gun wars, you know,
Yeah.
just normal kid things. I don't really have anything that I would say I remember that was really negative in my life. After all of that with the hospital stuff, my life was great, you know.
Yeah.
I got adopted and, you know, I have a great family.
Yeah, that's crazy too, is that your mom was able to get you for adoption and not being like birth
Yep.
parent or anything, right? Just
Yep.
because you had a brother in the house.
Mhm.
Like you don't hear about that hardly ever.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Uh-huh. And I didn't even know for a while that I was adopted. I had no memory of those people. I just knew my mom and I knew my brother and my other siblings. Like it was just my family. Like I
Yeah.
never had a different thought about that.
What was that like when you found out you were adopted?
I was surprised. I was pretty young. I think me and my mom she had told me a story about us reading a book that was about adoption, and it was about I think it was this bear mom, and she had multiple kids, but the kids were like a bird and an alligator and those things. Like that was the way of her, you know, telling me. And I think I had asked my mom, I was like, am I adopted or something along that line? And she had told me, and I think I got really upset at first. Because as a kid, you know, hearing that, I automatically got kind of scared or confused because I didn't really understand the concept of adoption at that time. And I never knew. Like, I was just so young. It's not something you automatically go into at that young of an age and be like, okay, this is mom and dad, this is not, or whatever. And, but after the fear and the being sad or whatnot, I realized that nothing's different. Literally nothing's different. These are my siblings. These are my parents. They've always been my parents, you know? And in our family, we never use the word stepsister, stepbrother, stepdad, any of that. We're all very connected. We never use those words to separate us at all. So after getting past that, it was like really nothing's changed. We're still the same family we've always been. It's just I had that knowledge of me being adopted and me knowing my birth story, you know.
Yeah. How old were you?
7-ish around that time.
Yeah.
Maybe 6, 7.
Like first grade, going to school, yeah?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. That's an impressionable age right there, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't have any full brothers or sisters, so I guess I never knew what it was like either. Like everything I have is all halves.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't know, you don't know, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and if you just grew up around it your whole life, then
Yep.
it's not like you're 7 years old and then you were adopted.
Yeah,
Which I'm sure would have been harder, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So what was your childhood like? You do sports and all that?
Oh, I did tons of sports.
Yeah?
We were always doing something. I would always be playing either volleyball, softball, doing track, basketball, literally anything I could do, you know. I tried tennis, I tried golf, like anything. We
Yeah.
were just always trying new sports just to keep us active, you know. So,
Yeah. What was your favorite one?
Honestly, probably basketball, I'd say. I loved basketball for a long time. That was my outlet for throughout high school and before that, just to manage my anxiety. It was my way of coping, get away from real life.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, all the health problems that you had as a kid never really stopped you once you got over that then, and
No.
like after 1 year old or something like that, right?
Yep. After all that, I was fine. I caught up and everything was good. No lung issues after that. I was healthy. So
For some of the viewers that don't know some of the things you had to go as a kid, like the stuff that your birth mom was going through, she was like a drug addict and stuff like that, and none of that. And there's like other diseases that didn't get passed off to you, which is like a miracle, right? What was all the stuff that you didn't get?
She was addicted to meds or to drugs, and she also had AIDS when she had me. I was addicted to the drugs, some of the drugs that she was on when I was born, but I didn't get AIDS from her, which is a miracle in itself. When you're fully connected to your mother in the womb, your blood's being shared, all of those things. And I didn't end up having AIDS. We tested me multiple times after that. And, I had to get off the drugs that were in my system from her after being born. But we did tests. We figured stuff out, and I ended up being healthy.
Yeah, because we kind of just skipped over that. But I know that's like a huge part. Like, that's crazy that you didn't even get any of that stuff. So I want to make sure that, like, that's a miracle, right?
Yeah. For sure. There was a lot of things that went into that birth, and the only way I can explain it is just God. That's the only way. There's no way that I should, one, be here or be healthy as I am today,
Yeah. Has God been a big part of your life?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. He wasn't always. I, at a younger age, was... We always, went to church every once in a while, but I never made my own connection to him until I got older. And some real life things happened. I went through a really bad relationship. I had moved out away from my family, and I ended up coming back home because my mental health just wasn't great. And I knew I needed my family, and I needed that comfort from my family and that just a healthy spot to be at. To figure all of that out. And when I moved back about, I think, 2 years ago now. I put in a lot of work with my mental health, with going to the gym, and with God. And God was a really big part of that, connecting with him again. And I was very curious about God at that time. I had known him, but I don't think I ever truly let him into my life until that moment. And of course it took something terrible to happen to me to be like, okay, but I always felt him. I just felt him very strongly pushing me, one, to go home and to get my stuff together, to figure out my life. So started praying, started doing devotionals, started going to church, and he was just there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how you have to go through some really low stuff, and then it has to be your idea, right?
Yeah.
It's like anybody can take you to church, but until you want to learn and you want to make the changes, like it's not going to last or it's not going to stick, right?
Yep, just like anything else.
Yeah. So because you grew up around it, but you weren't really like actually into it until you decided to, right?
I don't think I ever really understood it at a young age, until I got older and did my own research and, learned for myself and got my own perspective of God.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you're a kid, you're just kind of, it's part of your ritual, right?
Yep.
It's not like you really understand why or, yeah.
Yep. You go sit in the back of a church and you're hearing all these people talk about God and these sermons and things like that. And you're just sitting there just because your family's there. And, I always loved worship music, but anything else that they would say, I never understood. I was so young, I didn't get the concept or have the understanding of what goes into God, being God,
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because, like, when I was a kid, I just didn't believe in God at all because I was like, why would I go through all the stuff that I went through? There's not a plan for me, right?
Yeah.
And it took me like 18 years before I started realizing that like I had to go through every little thing.
Yep.
And then once it clicked and I wanted to learn, then I was like, oh, yeah, I had to go through all that for a reason.
Oh, yeah. I for sure looked back and was like, okay, I see where God was working. But in that moment, you don't see that,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like one of my favorite sayings is like when you're in the darkest spot, you think you've been buried, but you've only been planted, you know?
Yep.
So it's like you just got to go through those really bad spots. And the great thing about hitting rock bottom is you only got one way to go, and that's up, right? So
yeah.
What were some of the hard things you had to grow up with, like in your teenage years and stuff? Did you have like any adversity stuff that got you closer to God after you went through it?
I always had super bad anxiety. I've always had super bad anxiety. Throughout high school, that was something that was really hard for me. And I do have a reading disability, so that made it harder in school. For a long time, school just was not my thing, and I finally got some help with a disability plan and those things, and it made it easier. And around that time, I was going to church, and it still wasn't quite there for me, that connection with God. I had relationships that I had went through that were terrible. I had anxiety throughout all those times, and I don't know. I think that breaking point for me was when I moved back home. Super toxic relationship. I won't really get into that too much, but that person was just very not into God. So I think they pulled me actually farther away from God than closer to Him. And I had figured out what I wanted to do with my life with dog grooming instead of going to college or something of that sort, because school just, wasn't my thing. But I think once I hit that breaking point of knowing that, okay, something needs to change and this isn't for me, I felt Him, He gave me that tug and He was like, okay, come home, look at this, this, and this for your options of, hey, what if you do this for a business? What if you are eating better or go to the gym more and you get closer to me and your family? Like, those are the raw, important things that you need to not feel as anxious or not be as timid of everything. And once I got into that, that's definitely when I connected to God more and I let Him in.
Yeah. What was your reading issues that you had?
We call it a glitch in my family. So I'll read something and I can read it in my head and snap my fingers and it's gone. I don't remember what I read. It's better when I hear what I'm reading, but sometimes it's still that just glitch where it goes away. So I've always had trouble with reading anything. Math, there's a lot of reading that goes into schoolwork. I would always have my mom sit there and help me read things or help me with stories and those things. It was just very difficult for me to do anything in school with that reading being so difficult for me.
Yeah. I've had issues with reading as well. Like I'll read a page and I will just forget what it was and I have to reread it and reread it and reread it. Like I found out later that if I read it and then was listening to like an Audible or something, it would help a little bit. But yeah, that's crazy. You mentioned that fitness was helping you out. Mm-hmm. When did you start getting into fitness?
Oh man, I was into that early on. Knowing my mom,
Putting you through a boot camp?
Oh, yeah, we were always working out, or I would go out in the backyard at like 7 years old and do my own little workouts.
Yeah.
I'd do push-ups, pull-ups, whatever I could do, and at, I think it was 12 or 13 was when I was first able to go to the gym that was my mom was going to. It was that age that I was allowed to get my own membership and go, and I started going, and I was taking her classes because she was training at the gym there, so it was very sweet to have my mom there where I could lift and be comfortable. I stepped away from that for a while, but was always still active in the way of either hiking or playing sports. I just probably really got into the gym about 2 years ago, and I'm trying to get into it more. I struggle with that sometimes, but there's something about working out for me that helps my brain. It's not even about my body at that point. It's just my brain with my ADHD and my disability and my anxiety and those things. Just getting in there and listening to music and being able to lift heavy shit, as my mom would say.
Yeah.
Just makes you feel good about yourself, you know? And it just, I feel like it trains your brain that, hey, this is hard as shit right now, but I'm going to do it because it's going to make me better and stronger. And I do that in life as well, you know? When something's just hard, really hard, I just remember, hey, if I can lift heavy in the gym and push myself physically, I can definitely push myself mentally as well.
Yeah. How important do you think it is for other families out there for the mom to be an example for their daughters, like for fitness growing up?
I think it's very important. In my experience, I look up to my mom. I've always been by my mom's side. I've always watched everything that she's went through, and I knew at a young age that her working out helped her a lot. You know, it helped her mentally. It helped her deal with us. It helped her physically chase after us as kids, you know. It's very important. And she's always told me it's not about the way she looks. She does it for her mental, her brain, you know?
Yeah. It's like clinically proven it's the best antidepressant drug,
Yep.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I tell people all the time, like, I wish I would have gone to the gym way earlier in life, not for the muscles or anything, but just for the mental clarity you get. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's helped me. Like, I had a lot of child trauma that I went through, but, like, luckily I started going to the gym because that was, for me, just, like, big breakthroughs coming through. Like, my stepmom's a psychologist, and I would just, like, call her, like, I don't know what's going on, but, like, I just got done with the gym, and, like, I'm having stuff that I thought I'd had under the rug, like, from years ago that's popping up.
Yep.
She's like, yeah, that's just, like, neural pathways that open up when you work out. And I was oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know what's going on here. This is crazy. Like, you know, sometimes I'd be in like tears, like 3 a.m. Luckily, there's nobody there, but I'm like, what is this happening?
Oh, that's happened to me a few times too. I'll be working out and just start bawling, and I'm like, you know, why am I crying? You know, but it's just it's freeing. You know, it's just that release.
Right? Yeah, I'd try. Like, I wish there was more doctors out there that would just prescribe, like, here's a gym membership.
Yep.
Rather than here's just medication. It's just gonna like put Band-Aids on the problem.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep.
Like, I work in a prison and they give a whole bunch of people antidepressant meds, but they're still the ones that are like just laying on their bunk all day, not doing anything, eating the wrong things. Like, what do you expect? Of course you're going to be depressed.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, are you going to help yourself, you know, step out of that, or you're just going to let yourself rot?
Yeah.
You know? And that's where that mental part comes back into it, you know? Working out, like I said, it helps your mental. If you're mentally good, then you can get through whatever, you know?
Yeah. Have you helped other people like start going to the gym, a coach for them, or like not really like a coach, but just telling them like, hey, this worked for me, like you should try it too, and you got some more people into it?
I definitely push some of the friends and people that I'm around to go to the gym. I also think that helping or pushing them into the gym pushes me into the gym more, you know?
It's like an accountability thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have some friends that I'll take to the gym sometimes, and it'll be great. You know, I always tell them the same thing that I, you know, just said with the mental. And, you know, a lot of people nowadays do it for the physical look, and they don't realize that it's really helping your brain, you know, get stronger. So, yeah, I do try to push people to go to the gym.
Yeah. You just got to push your body to failure. And then once your body knows that, like, you can go to that next level, it just opens up many possibilities.
Yep.
So when you were growing up, did you have other, like, little businesses? I know you got a business going now, but, like, have you always had that entrepreneurial spirit?
I've always wanted to do something on my own. You know, I have always kind of gone against what society has told me to do. With school, I was like, I don't like school. I don't like college. I went to a schooling just for dog grooming for, I think it was like 12 weeks or something like that. Before that, I knew I didn't want to go to college at a young age, but I knew I wanted to do something big, and whether that be helping people or doing something with animals. I just knew that. Once I got through high school, though, that's when it kind of clicked for me. I was like, okay, I could start with dog grooming and work for someone else, but I knew I wanted to make it into my own business eventually. to step away and just be in charge of that, be in control of that part of my life if I could. So I didn't always know, but now that I do know it, it makes a lot of sense with how I was growing up and all that. I just,
Yeah. What'd you go to college for?
It was for the dog grooming.
Oh, was
Yep.
it?
I just, it was like a trade school.
Oh, okay.
So you just go, and I did a apprenticeship for 12 weeks or so, and then after that, I got my certification, and I was good to go. So
how'd you realize that dog grooming was the path you wanted to go down?
Man, I have always loved animals. I think I get along with animals more than I do people, and that's always just how it's been. I always thought, hey, maybe I'll be a veterinarian or I'll shelter dogs or something. And my mom actually told me about dog grooming, and at first I was pretty scared. New things that are very scary for me. But we got into it, and I started it and stuck through with it, and I ended up loving it, just cleaning those dogs and just being with them and knowing that they're going to feel good after their bath makes me feel good, and it's just that comfort of being around animals for me. Just anything with animals is great.
Did you start working for someone else first?
I did, yes. I worked for someone else for, I think, a year or so, and then I actually still go and work for them every once in a while if they need some extra help. But that was the first person that I worked with in the dog grooming business, and she was great. She taught me a lot, and I'm still in contact with her every once in a while. She'll text me, be like, hey, can you come in? We're really busy today, and I'll go help her out. But then I have my business on the side,
Yeah. So when did you open your business?
Not too long ago. I think maybe a year and a half ago-ish.
Yeah.
It was about the time I moved back here. I took a little bit of time to figure out what I was going to do and get into that. And then I, decided it's time for my own business,
What's the name of your business?
Humble Grooming.
Where'd you come up with that name?
One, we live on our streets called Humble Lane is our street that our house is on. So I kind of went off of that. But, for me, being humble is just a big thing that I've always seen in my family, with no matter what we have, just being humble about it is a very big thing, especially when, those big important things that we have can automatically be taken away at some point. Just being comfortable in that and just overall humble over everything that we have is just a big, very important thing to me. And with that, I wanted it to be a reminder, so that's why I put that in the name for my business.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. What's some of the services that you guys do?
I do just regular grooms. I do nail trimming. I can do anal glands. Not that I want to, but I will do that. Just anything really anybody needs, regular dog stuff, just washing them, nails, grooming, little things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any dogs that you like working on more than others?
Oh, for sure. For sure. The different breeds all have different personalities. Pomeranians, man, they get me every time. They're quite nippy, I've noticed, but I'm quite good at making the dog feel comfortable and accommodating their needs. I always have dogs that either are older or they have some back pain or something, and I always know to be more patient with them. And since it's my own business and in my own environment, I get to take those steps to make those animals feel more comfortable instead of just at another person's salon where, you have a time frame. It's like you have to do this, this, and this, and you have to rush. And for me, it's very important that the dog, one, feels comfortable and I feel comfortable doing it. They're babies, people love their animals, and I just want to show their animals some love and patience and, make them feel good.
I had a lady on here before. She used to do dog grooming too, and she said like animals have energies. Have you ever dealt with anything like that?
Oh yeah. You can always tell if a dog's anxious or more shy, or they can be aggressive, but usually that's out of fear. you know. I always hang out with the dog a little bit before I do the groom to get them comfortable with me and kind of feel their vibe, and they can feel mine, and then I go from there with whatever I feel will be best to make the groom not only look good, but go smoothly as possible.
What are some of the hard parts about grooming that people don't really get to see?
Honestly, just depends on the dog. You know, I've had multiple dogs be a lot squirmier and fearful, so they nip at you quite a bit. I've had a lot of dogs poop on the table. Like, they'll poop 3 or 4 times while I'm doing the groom. You know, you have to stop, clean it up, make sure they didn't step in it or whatnot, and then rebathe them and start all over, you know. Little things like that. It just really depends. But like I said, I try to be patient with them, you know. It's not their fault. They're just nervous or scared, and, you know, you work around that.
Right. What's your end goal for, like, this whole business? Do you want to get, like, your own shop, like, get more people, more cutters in there, more groomers, like, get it big, or you just want to keep it kind of small for now?
My end goal would probably be to have my own shop and have some people work for me and take over that grooming side of it. I do want to eventually do boarding as well, like a little private boarding where you only have a few dogs at a time. I don't know. There's so many opportunities in that area. I would love to eventually travel and either groom dogs for free or, you know, just help people that don't have that money to take care of their dogs in that way, you know.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I've seen like mobile grooming vans and stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Something of that sort possibly later on. Yeah, I just want to be able to help animals, and, you know, animals are important to people, so in that way help people as well.
Yeah. My daughter's been telling me lately she wants to go and volunteer at, like, the pet shelters and stuff. Mm-hmm. She just loves animals too.
End up bringing a dog or something home.
No. We have enough dogs. I told them after these dogs are gone, we're not getting any more because they're a handful. But yeah, I think it's cool because I mean, my daughter really wants to go into animals and she wants to be a vet or whatever. Yep. So now everything I tell her, it's like, well, you have to, like, when it comes to schooling and stuff, I'm like, well, if you want to be a vet, you know, or if you want to do anything with animals, you need to learn everything you can. And so it sounds like from pretty early on, you knew you wanted to work with animals then.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool that you got to follow your passion then.
Mm-hmm. We've always had tons of animals, so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What kind of animals did you grow up with?
We had pigs, bunnies, chickens, I had lizards, fish, cats, dogs, anything. At one point, we had a bullfrog and a turtle that my dad found, and he just brings them home, you know. So we always had random animals at the house, and I always loved it.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think it'd be cool to maybe, like, start a YouTube channel or something of just going around and you know, you see people, like, taking care of people's yards that's overgrown. Yep. If you did the same thing for, like, I'll give your dog a bath or whatever, right?
I've thought about that as well, yeah.
That'd be cool.
That's a big thing that I've seen people grow with in their business, of just going and knocking on people's doors and being like, hey, you want this for this amount of money or free or whatnot, just to get your name out there.
Yeah. Everybody loves good before and afters, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be a good idea. You should run with it. Mm-hmm. Do you do much on social media?
I'm not a big social media person. I've gotten into it a little bit more since I've gotten my business, you know. I do the before and after pictures, and I'll take little after pictures that are super cute of the dogs and stuff, but never been super big on social media, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get a little bit more into it just because that's how the world works now, you know. So
yeah, everybody's got social media in their hands, so that's
always.
And the nice thing is it's free, so you can just advertise for free. But so what do you do outside of working then for fun?
Oh, I love listening to music. Music's a big thing for me. I've always loved music. Spend time with my family a lot. Gym and just hang out, you know, get into God. And I don't do much, honestly. I live a pretty simple life, but I love it that way. You know? I just love nature, music, my family, and God, you know, and animals.
What's your music type?
I love all music. All music. You can throw on some jazz and I'd probably get into it, you know. You can throw on rap, you can throw on country, whatever it is, I'm good with it.
Yeah. Do you go to any concerts?
I have been to a few, not many. I want to go to more, but they're quite expensive.
Yeah.
I went to a Mike Sherm concert, I think it was like last year, and then Suicide Boys. Those were my two big concerts that I went to, and I had a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my brother went to the Suicide Boys one too. He took his daughter.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. How about traveling? Do you travel much? Do you like to travel?
I do like traveling. It's expensive, so I haven't traveled too much, but eventually I would love to travel, you know. I've always thought about getting my own little van and taking my dog with me and just traveling, you know, just driving.
Yeah.
You know, seeing nature, seeing God's beauty, and meeting new people and people that have the same interests as I do, you know.
That'd be cool. You just have like one of those mobile grooming vans.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now it's a tax write-off when you travel.
Oh, yeah. You can do a lot.
Yeah. And then you could just record it all on social media and get paid for it that way.
Yep.
That'd be cool. I think you should start it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the best way for people like to contact you about grooming or other services?
I have a Facebook account and an Instagram account. You can look it up. It's at humble_grooming. So I'm on there. I don't post as much as I should, so I'm going to start posting more. But you can get a hold of me that way, and my phone number's on there as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it'd be cool. I'd love to see more on like your stories and stuff, and like the befores and afters are awesome. So, is it open like every day a week, or do you have which are your business hours?
I honestly try to get people in whenever I can. You know, whatever they need. I'm quite good at being flexible with that. I think that's one of my main parts that I wanted to be known in my business is being flexible with, you know, times, or if someone needs me to go pick up their dog and drop them off or whatnot.
Oh, you do that too?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
If someone's got kids in school or they got a meeting or something, you know, being able to be like, hey, let me just come pick up your dog, take it back, and go do it real quick and then come drop it off, you know. I wanted that to be a big thing. You know?
I think that would definitely set yourself apart from other people.
Oh, yeah.
Because I haven't heard of that.
Yep. That's a main thing, and I'm not necessarily a mobile groomer, but doing that pickup and drop off is a big thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, convenience is everything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, with Grubhub, obviously people are paying for their food to get delivered.
Yep.
Groceries get delivered. Now you can get your dog delivered.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's pretty sweet. What are some of the big takeaways you'd want people to get from your story? Like life lessons that you could pass on to others?
Honestly, just knowing that hard things happen, but they happen for a reason, and not getting so stuck in those hard times. Life is hard, man. Like, really hard. I've learned that growing up, and as an adult, being an adult is hard. Having to pay for stuff, having to just something as simple as making appointments, you know. With someone with anxiety like I have, the littlest thing could be a lot for me, and just knowing that it's okay, and it's okay to struggle, and it's okay to ask for help, and just trusting in, you know, God and the people around you, and whatever you focus on. If you're focusing on the bad, that's all you're going to see. If you focus on the good, you just got to pick out those good little moments in your life and know, all right, God's got me, and it's not always bad, you know?
Yeah, I think once you got faith in God, then you'll be able to roll with the punches more, right?
Oh,
You
sure.
just know that, all right, I know that there's a level up involved here somewhere.
Yep. You just know someone's always got you, you know, no matter what.
Yeah. I like the saying that life isn't as it is, life is as you are. So if you're just seeing the positive or the negative, that's what you're going to find, right?
Yeah.
I think that's huge. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time, and I'm sure we'll have you back on. Maybe we'll have to do like a big group once I get everything all
Oh, for sure.
set
That'd be
up.
awesome.
I want to have multiple people on at the same time.
Yeah,
So.
that'd be awesome.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.